Welcome back to the Naked and Truth podcast. It is your host and your coach, and today is my motherfucking birthday, guys. I'm extra excited for this one because I am rolling into that decade of being more intelligent, taking all those mistakes from your younger years, being able to use them now as you are older and wiser and just aging like fine wine. Jokes aside, but I thought that this was an important episode to do because of the fact that so many of us compare ourselves to other people, feeling like our own journey is not enough. And I have been there in these years, in these 30 amazing years. I have had ups, downs, friggin' arounds. And let me tell you, I feel confident going into my 30s just because of the lessons that I've learned. And I know that I've talked in many podcasts prior to not be afraid to make mistakes, that these are the opportunities that allow for us to really grow into the people that we were meant to be. It challenges us to focus on our integrity. It challenges us to align ourselves with our values. And it really makes us shift our perspective when a lot of the time life shapes our perspective in a way that doesn't necessarily serve us. And it's those challenges that allows us to get out of a place of complacency, allows for us to potentially even be more understanding towards other people, the life that they live, maybe the mistakes that they've made in their time, simply due to the challenges that we face. Now, I just want to do a quick episode to encourage you guys to follow your fucking dreams, okay? That is what this episode is really going to be about, is to just give a few words of encouragement. Because if I were to take 10-year-old me and look at 30-year-old me now, first of all, I think I'd be surprised that I survived this long. But second of all, I do think that 10-year-old me wouldn't anticipate me to be where I am in my 30s. So I have always been the anomaly, I think the word is. Let me just double check this here because I also don't want to just be anomaly, spitting out words here that don't actually make sense. Yeah, okay. Something that deviates from what is standard, normal, or expected. And I have always been that anomaly right from when I was young. So, you know, as I was in my early childhood, I was dealing with a lot of trauma and I gained a lot of weight, which therefore made me stand out compared to other kids. Standing out compared to other kids in turn made me hate myself. And I started to take a lot of abuse against myself, whether it was physical abuse, mental abuse, substance abuse. And it all started really young. That lack of confidence made me chase after male attention. So I was the first one hooking up with everybody before anybody else was. So again, the anomaly. I was the one partying hard long before anybody got their feet wet. So again, the anomaly. Then, as everybody was finally getting to their party years, I decided it was time to go sober. And again, that made me an anomaly. As people partied and traveled in their 20s, I was focused on building my business, which again is quite an anomaly. And now here I am hitting 30. Most of my friends are thinking of baby number 2, potentially even up to baby number 4 or 5, which is absolutely wild to think about. And here I am with my baby podcast and my baby business. And, life is not necessarily what I thought that it was going to be, but that does not take away from it still being my life, my journey. And really, there's no reason why it can't be great just because I didn't follow the same path as everybody else. And I think that we get so scared to be different. We really do. A lot of the issues that we have is that we don't want to stand out from the crowd. We want to feel accepted. We want to feel normal, quote unquote normal. But seriously, what the fuck is normal anymore? This world is wild out there these days. So let me tell you that definition of normal can be pretty complex at this point, I would say. But with that being said, I think that so many of us hold back from believing that our lives are great, hold back from chasing after our dreams hold back from doing what we know is right sometimes, or standing up for what's right, simply because we don't want to stand out and we're scared. We want to fit in. We want to feel normal, like I said. And I just really want to encourage you guys that if you want to do it different, if you want to be different, you have to be willing to do things differently than what everybody else is doing. Okay. I have said 1,001 times, and I will keep preaching it, that doing the same thing as what majority is doing is probably not the right thing for you to be doing. Just because people are doing it on the masses does not mean that it's the right decision for you, nor does it mean that it is actually cool. But we are obsessed with some really weird things in today's day and age. And that's what I really want us to be encouraged of, is like, if we are celebrating and praising the things that are going on today, don't be afraid to be yourself, okay? The right people are going to fall in line. Do not feel like you need to change who you are to impress other people. Again, the right people are going to find you when you stay true to your values and your integrity. It's so funny because I feel like people are attracted to like fake all the time, right? And it's like sometimes the realer that you are, I feel like the further away you are from feeling like you have this massive circle. But that doesn't mean that being real is the wrong way to go. It's just that people prefer seeing people who don't talk about their mistakes. They prefer people who edit their photos because they look fucking perfect, and they would rather see those people be perfect in their perfect lives, even though none of it's fucking true. But that's what people would rather see. You know what I mean? It blows my mind. And so if I have learned anything in these 30 years, it is that life doesn't make sense. It will never make sense. You will drive yourself fucking bonkers if you are trying to figure out life and people and why people do what they do. But as you continue to grow, as you continue to make mistakes, sometimes you are provided with the understanding as to why some people might make the decisions that they do, why some people might act the way that they do. But I just want you to feel so confident in who you are that you don't feel like you need to chase people, that you can be the kind of person who can tell people's intentions, okay? I find so many people are are scared to say how they're feeling. And I'm going to take a drink of coffee here. But it's funny because I used to be the kind of person that said everything. Like if I was fucking mad, you'd know. If I was upset, you'd know. If I was extremely happy, you'd know. If I had some advice for your life, you'd also know. But I've pulled back because I really recognize that just because I'm feeling something doesn't mean that I always need to express it. And that was a big lesson for me. I'm still working on that, but damn, have I come a long ways. And I think it's really important to remember that as I'm always talking about us being on one extreme compared to another, is that some of us don't say anything at all when it's so important for us to say how we're feeling in some instances. And some of us simply flap out of our ass and never know when to shut up. And again, it's really trying to find that middle ground of making sure that you're listening and you're present and you're growing and you're learning, because you don't learn while you're talking, right? You learn while you're listening. But then it's also important to make sure that if you're not feeling good about something, that you address it. Because when you don't address it, that's when it allows things to grow. Another big lesson that I've learned is how important forgiveness is. Forgiveness is not for the person that you're forgiving. Forgiveness is for you so that you don't become this bitter bitch, because that shit happens. You become resentful. You feel like you're the anomaly where everybody has this perfect life except for you. And you feel like you're hard done by, and you feel like things just keep happening to you. But again, it's that perspective, right? And one thing is that even when you're real, people will still be fake. And it doesn't mean that you necessarily need to cut them out indefinitely, but you need to watch out. You need to have boundaries and you need to protect yourself in certain instances, right? Because it gets to a point where it drains you, where people start draining you because people are so caught up in the worldly bullshit that's going around, and they're obsessed with themselves. Nobody really cares about other people. Nobody actually wants you to have success, right? And celebrate your success. Where I feel like that's something that I've been preaching for so long, is that there's more than enough success for all of us to go around. And there's more than enough success to go around for all of us. I think I said that a little backwards, but y'all knew what I was putting down. And you've seen me preach this. If you see my social media, I'm constantly supporting other personal trainers and coaches and their businesses. I buy hoodies from my friends who are also coaches because I firmly believe that we all have our own spot. We all have our own specialty. I firmly believe that there's always going to be enough to go around, and that the more that you can love and give, the more you're going to find fulfillment in your life. It's not even that you're going to be blessed back, okay? Life can be a real bitch that way. You can give and give and give and not get anything back, but that's the issue with feeling like you're giving in order to receive back instead of giving to feel fulfilled in what you're doing for other people, okay? Because if you're giving and expecting something back, you're doing something for you. This has nothing to do with the person that you just did whatever for to support. So that's another big lesson in it all. And if you ever feel like your friendships are just starting to like fade and fizzle, and you try to address them, like you feel like people, like I have had people just like flip in life and just be a completely different person, and I'll address it and ask if I did anything wrong. Like I am always the kind of friend where I will check if I feel like you've kind of changed how you're speaking, or whatever, how often we're hanging out, whatever it is, and make sure, like, if I fucked up on something or I offended you or there's an area where I should be growing, tell me, because real friends want you to grow. Real friends are not just going to let you muddle in your shit, feel sorry for yourself, hold yourself back, come up with excuses, lie about dumb things. Like, friends should be there to push you, give you the honest truth, even when you don't necessarily want to hear it. That's probably when you need it the most. And being able to find genuine friends who care about you that way are going to be far and few between, which is why one of the upcoming episodes, we are going to be talking about best friends and what that term actually means. So I can't wait to get into that with you guys, because as I'm learning and growing older and wiser, I seriously firmly believe that life's too short. Life's too short to hold back, but it's also too precious to go too hard into it. So that's where I've learned to find my balance in speaking the things that are important, but also not feeling like I need to say everything that I'm feeling. It's about knowing when to channel your emotions and to be able to feel something, but to not allow those feelings to overtake your actions and your words. You know, Going through hard things and being able to process it without feeling like you need to call somebody else and just release that energy against them, or simply just make them feel that brunt end of that emotion and turn it into something 10 times bigger than it needed to be because you added a little bit of gas to your fire, right? Man, like there's just so many different lessons that I feel like life has taught me that has not always been easy, that have not always made sense. But I firmly believe that now, going into my 30s, I'm going to be able to take a lot of these hardships and lessons and challenges and be able to make life a little bit easier. And it's only easier because of my perspective, my understanding, my compassion, my self-awareness, instead of my lack of awareness, my self-sabotage, my pity, my self-pity, envy of other people, all of the things that held me back in the past. I've been able to grow through these things. It doesn't mean that life's going to be any easier, but it does mean that I'm going to be that much wiser, being able to look at life with that much better of a perspective. So I just want to encourage you guys that if you feel like you're the anomaly in your life, that's okay. It's okay to do it different. We don't need to be like everybody else, okay? We just need to be good people. We need to love who we are, and we need to love the life that we live. Because when we're confident in who we are, when we love the life that we live, we project that into the world and allow for others to see us as an inspiration instead of seeing us as just like everybody else, right? They will see that there's something different about you. And whether they put their finger on it the right way or not, the right people are going to align with you, I promise. And even in a world where it's easy to hate, it's easy to take the easy way out. It is easy to essentially just be a piece of shit. It really is easy to be a piece of shit in today's day and age. But don't let people steal your joy. Don't let people steal your smile. And don't let people be so in control of your emotions that you're allowing for other people to control how you act, how you speak, and how you feel. Okay? Because those are three things that are completely in your control that nobody else can take away from you. The only thing that's ever going to hinder that is perspective. But the more wise that you get, the less that you feel like you need to be like everybody else, and the more confidence that you can just bring into who you are and allowing for that to grow your decisions and the way that you speak to people, man, life is going to be good. Now, do I have all this shit figured out? Heck no. I will not even figure that out in my 30s, I'm sure. But we about to grow in this decade. I know that the right people are going to be alongside me. I just feel like this is about to be completely different than anything I've ever experienced before because I am in control of things in the right way instead of trying to control my life in a way that destroys me. Okay. As I've mentioned, some of our best qualities can be our strength and our weakness. And I have finally learned how to master that quality and these qualities to be my strength instead of my constant weakness. So I am so excited that I am 30 and I get to celebrate this with you guys. So thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. I hope that it inspired you, that just because you live a different life does not make it less than someone else's who seems like it's a commonality, okay? I want to make sure that you're not afraid to follow your dreams. I want to make sure that you recognize that you are worth every bit of happiness and that you deserve to have the right circle of people surrounding you, embracing you for who you are, encouraging you to do your best, and being alongside you to celebrate your successes. If you found value in this episode, screenshot it, put it onto your story, tag me, because I would love to know that you tuned in to my 30th birthday episode. I am so fucking grateful for every single one of you. I don't think you actually understand. And I've preached this so much that 2024 is going to be the best year for Authentically Fit, but it is also going to be the best year for Naked and Truth because these past few years have been nothing but growth. And we finally get to a point where we learn so much, learn so much, learn so much. We got to execute, we got to apply. And it is time to execute, guys. So I am going to close this one off here. It is time to go party. And I hope that you guys have the best fucking day